I'd like to welcome everybody to the emergency special town council meeting, Wednesday, March 6th, 2024, 5 p.m., Veterans Room. The agenda revised. Call the meeting to order. Roll call.
Council Dow.
Here.
Council Adams.
Present.
Council Shinnion.
Here.
Council Ortiz.
Present.
Council Montigny.
Present.
Council Marquetti.
Present.
Council Rivas. I know she was given notice, and Council Daniel is excused. He's away. So, okay. Yeah, I do have a quorum.
And I am here.
And Council.
Council Lazo, sorry, Council Lazo.
If you haven't seen the traffic, barely sitting up front. Okay, vote to authorize the interim building commissioner, Theodore Tatro, pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 143, Section 7, removal and making structure safe, putting up fence. Any person so notified shall be allowed until 12 o'clock noon of the day of the following the service of the notice in which to begin to remove such structure or make it safe or to make it secure. And he shall employ sufficient labor speedily to make it safe and remove it and or to make it secure. But if the public safety is requires and if the alderman or selectman so order, the inspector of buildings may immediately enter upon the premise with the necessary workmen and assistants and cause such unsafe structure to be made safe or taken down without delay, and a proper fence put up for the protection of passers-by or to be made secure. If such building or structure is taken down or removed, the lot shall be leveled and uniform grade by a proper sanitary fill to cover any cellular or foundation hole and any rubble not removed. Mass General Law, Chapter 143, 7. Property, 30 Mill Street, map 034, BLK 152, lot 00001. Owner, 18 Mill Street, LLC. CO, 18 Mill Street Development, LLC. Authorize the town manager to sign all documents related thereto.
So moved.
Motion by Shinya, seconded by Dow. Discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Through you, so this building is known to everybody. We've had previous conversations about this building. When I first got here in August, we knew that we had several issues and were concerns about the safety. However, at the time, we knew that there was that the owner of the property had put the building into bankruptcy, and previously to that, we had some tax title issues and takings in that case, but we were stayed because of the bankruptcy issues. As I had stated at that time, once we got the treasurer collector on board, we started getting through our files, we were going to be working on the tax title issues in bankruptcy court. Back about a month or so ago, a little bit more than that, I did reach out to Copeland and Page. We had a conversation back in November about what we could do given the circumstances. Copeland and Page stated that we would have to convene the committees and go through the processes in the bankruptcy court and all that. So we've had this conversation about this facility with Teddy, with Mike, with Chairman Lazo about the next steps. On Monday, we were notified that there was a collapse of a portion of the building that we had multiple concerns about. We had a meeting, we were talking about next steps. Teddy and I had conversations with Scott earlier about next steps on what we were going to do to make at least a portion of this facility safe for the public and go through emergency waivers with DCAM and notice requirements. So we were in the process of doing that. We reached out to the DPW director to go down and make move the fencing to make a little bit more of an area of collapse zone, and upon further inspection today and 2 inches of rain coming tonight, that portion of that building is unsafe. So we had a meeting on site with the building commissioner, Teddy Tatro, Mike Julian, fire chief,
Norm?
inspection department. We had another individual from Burton Engineering there to put together the crew that you have to have, survey crew. As fortuitous as it is, today, and I think I mentioned to the council earlier, that Michelle, the treasurer collector, had dismissed the previous tax title attorney and had secured services of the new tax title attorney. Well, that meeting was actually taking place today. So Michelle and the tax title attorney came with us on site while we had this conversation about the property and next steps. So while we had concerns before that it was in bankruptcy and the tax title taking, and we had to go through that pathway, now that it's become with a collapse, immediate danger, we now have the ability to go directly to make it safe at this point, and we would work with Michelle. Michelle and the attorney are working to see about, there's some issues about the bankruptcy court. It may have been some changes in that status, recent changes, so the tax title attorney is going to take a look at where that stands. Additionally, we had conversations with Senator Fatman's office today, who have reached out to us about some estate assistance, and we had conversations about that. We're going to further that. I had a meeting with Bob Jakes, who owns A&M Tool and Die, right? A&M Tool and Die. In regards to that building that's behind it, all the concerns, we know the other businesses that are there. So while originally Teddy and I and the team had thought we might be able to go a couple of weeks and secure services, it's evident that we cannot do that. I gave, I think, everybody pictures of the damages, the collapse zone, the state law, and Teddy's here today, and he issued notice to the owner saying that they had to take immediate action. We reached out to our constables that we secure on site for our constable service. None of our constables were able to do the service, so I reached out to this Worcester County Sheriff's Office. Norm Roder, Gary Fontaine helped me as well. I contacted Norman through the Worcester County Sheriff's Office and said we need to try to make contact with this individual, at least to provide the notice that said we make an attempt for notice. He was very accommodating, came down, took the notice, immediately went to the last known good address that we have for this individual, attempted to make service. The owner of that property indicated that that individual has not lived there for approximately 7 to 10 years, which doesn't make sense. Well, makes sense, but she said that he hasn't lived there. He then did a query through the Worcester County Sheriff's to determine any additional addresses, found another address, attempted service there, and the gentleman does not live there. So as far as we're concerned, we made attempts to put notice. They will document that, send us the request, the information back from Worcester County Sheriff's. So we've satisfied our notice requirements that, hey, this is an unsafe structure, we're taking it down, and now I'll turn it over to Teddy for any additional information.
I also, through the chair, I also called the mortgage holders' attorneys, and he said the same thing. He's like, we can't track him down. He's no longer representing anybody involved in it. He's backed out. He had no contact information. He had no other numbers that he could give us, no other addresses. So we did, like you said, we did our due diligence there. But on inspection of the building, if you can see the hole that's here, but on the side of the windows on the left-hand side towards the driveway going in the back, it's cracked all the way up the side of that gable end on both sides, and it's separating. So what's going to happen is once you get a little more load on that roof and it starts to fold, it's going to force that wall out even further. Once it does, it's going to collapse in the road, and if anybody's going through there, they're going to get crushed. So I did contact the demo company that you guys have on Snow Street. They're motivating the machine tonight. They will be there at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and they will be knocking this thing down, putting it on, at least on the ground, so we can make it safe. And we'll go from there. After that, we're going to send letters out to the owner to see if he wants to clean up the debris, because that's going to be his responsibility, not ours. And if not, well, then we'll have to address that at that point in time.
Any questions by council? Mike?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, through you. I thought this guy filed bankruptcy.
He did, and it was in bankruptcy court. And now, it may have been dismissed. That's why we have our new tax title attorney is gonna track that information down. So we will, and that was the issue before. We knew that it was in bankruptcy court. We were trying to get tax title attorneys on board to make sure that we could, what process we could use, to just, hey, it's a blighted building, we know there's some issues, let's take it down. Now it's to the safety issue, which under Mass General Law, we have the right to do, so.
So if he's in bankruptcy court, I would presume that he used an address when he filed it.
That's the address for his corporate address, that, every address that we have, and the sheriff's office has ability to run queries through the databases for any new address, and that was the only addresses that they could find.
So if we take it down, is there gonna be any legal, are we under any legal jeopardy for taking down a building when it's under?
No, because it's safety now.
Right.
Before it was, we may have had some potential issues, but now it's a safety, and we have documented. There's no way that anybody can, if we were to go to court, anybody took us to court right now and saw the condition of that, there is no way that they would say that you weren't right in taking that down to make it safe.
So are you going to take, how much of this are you going to take down? Just the wall, the building, how far in are you gonna go?
The whole back leg all the way back to the main building.
To the
So,
tower.
You look right here, this is Mill Street, so you have the main building here, and you have the L, we would take down to the main building. And the next step is, we had we had the team on place, Burton Engineer, we're gonna secure quotes for a structural engineer to go into the main building to see where the status of that building is, and give any recommendations that we need to do. Now, in that building, perhaps we might have several options, rather than take the whole building down, perhaps we can do some shoring. We've talked about shoring up the walls, so that perhaps we could at least maintain it so it doesn't collapse, or there's no further indication of collapse. And in that case, then if the bankruptcy is, say the bankruptcy, there is no more bankruptcy, and then we can go through the tax title process, and we talked to the tax title attorney today, we would then pursue it through, possibly, I'm not saying definitely, but possibly, taking it as tax title, then developing an RFP, and say, hey, somebody wants to develop that property, and then we would go down that road. Because there are individuals that are interested in that.
We're gonna place a
and we
lien
can-
on the property too. Is
There
that
will be a
seen-
lien on the
I've
property.
seen that happen before, where somebody's building, we took it down, they collected the insurance, and then we never saw it.
Yeah, so there's no insurance on this?
No insurance
So-
on the building.
Really.
Council Dow and Council Senior.
I'm done, thank you.
Thank you, Chair, through you. A few questions. Pretty much we're gonna stuck with the bill.
For right now, yes.
I don't know if you see over, if you look in the corner all the way up in here in a taller building, it's falling apart there too. So if you take that section out, what's it gonna guarantee the other side is gonna be safe?
We're gonna bring it back all the
The
way to, all the way to the concrete, and we're gonna leave approximately 8 to 10 feet of the structure. We'll scrape that part off, so it stabilizes, it doesn't jeopardize the top part of that
It
tower.
seems like it started falling
Yeah,
down.
yeah, it's in rough shape too.
So if you drive on Mill Street too, you look 5 feet off the ground, the
It's
wall is
melting. Yeah.
bubbling there too.
Yeah.
So what
That's,
the risk if it doesn't blow right there anytime soon?
if it does, we're gonna have to continue on.
Right. That's why we're gonna pursue the structural
Yeah.
engineer as well.
Right.
So we're gonna stuck with the demolition right now, Bill. We're not sure if that building, either if we take it in the title, whatever, we put it in the auction, or we sell it to someone in the future, if we can, it's fixable, or that person have to tear it down in the future and,
Structural engineers going in there to tell us that. That's what Jack was saying earlier. When we just want, tonight we want to vote to make it safe.
Yep.
Then the structural engineer is gonna tell us if that other part is safe. I don't wanna say we might have to take down the whole thing, but
We may have to.
that's on the agenda if it happens. But we need the engineer to tell us the building's done, take it down.
And if we do sell it, if you do sell that front part through
RFP.
RFP or whatever, it's commercial, it's gonna be developable, but you'll have to have a chapter 34 review done, which an engineer will come in, he'll do a full report on what needs to be done to the structure to bring it up to code, and that's what he'll have to follow. So he'll be aware of whatever deficiencies are there and what he's gonna fix.
Council Senior.
You mentioned just pushing it in.
Mhm.
How long is that debris gonna be sticking around?
Well, like I said, we're gonna send notice to him, again, through whether he receives it or not, I don't know. But we're gonna send out notice that he's already on the hook for whatever the knockdown is cost.
My
And then
concern,
he's gonna be responsible for removal of debris. If he doesn't remove it, we'll have to set up an engineered report to get it approved by the state for the DEP, and then have a contractor come in and remove it all, truck it all
just
out.
my concern is that debris can be just as much as a,
The debris is probably gonna be more. than
no,
the
but just
knockdown.
as much as a hazard
Oh,
as the
yeah.
building collapsing, you know, kids in the neighborhood, those kind of things,
Mhm.
right?
Well, we're gonna keep the
We're still
fence.
gonna fence it
Right, I
out.
Still
understand
fence.
that, but it's just,
Understand what we're doing today.
I understand.
We're knocking the building down.
Mm-hmm.
We're securing the site so nobody gets killed.
Right.
It's gonna be fenced in. And then we have to take further action immediately following this action with the engineers,
Yep.
with the debris, with all of it. So those are questions, we
Further
need,
down the line.
we need some work
Well, I
done.
just, I want it, it's some satisfaction myself not to
Nope.
see that debris
Yep.
hanging around for years.
No, I won't, I don't want it to hang around for years either.
I'm good.
I'm sorry, Gus, then,
Thank you. From a Board of Health perspective, is there any danger from the debris to the public?
No.
You sure?
Yeah.
Is that-
No, it's gonna be-
is there any other crap
But
that might be-
we're gonna treat it as it's hot. The demo company that's coming in is also gonna treat it as it's hot.
Okay.
They're gonna be hosing it down, they're gonna have it all cordoned off, they'll be doing air monitoring, I'm sure. So they're gonna treat it as it's hot anyway.
Okay.
Once it's on the ground, they know what requirements we have to follow to make sure that it's stable and it's not gonna bother anybody. But as long as it's not disturbed after it's on the ground, it shouldn't be an issue.
Is there anything that, are you gonna be like capping it or anything like that?
I spoke with the contractor about that this afternoon. He said, he's gonna check. He's already getting the order from DEP. He said if DEP wants it capped, he will do it, but
Okay.
if they don't require it, we don't need to do it.
Teddy, did they remediate any part of that building? In our meeting, we sat down and we thought we had some records about remediation of the mill when he did the mill project.
I couldn't find, we haven't looked
You
for any
find any?
no, we haven't looked for any records on that part.
Okay.
But, I mean, just going through it, you got all the old windows on the other side, they're all there, all the little small lights, all that glazing is asbestos, without a doubt. The roof on this, they say it's replaced, but I'm sure it's a go-over, just by looking at it. So, I guarantee it's hot as soon as you dig under it.
Council Rivas?
I just have a couple of questions. You might already talked about the timeline about.
Tomorrow?
taking-
Tomorrow.
Okay, taking it down and then to the next phase where the person's gonna come in and evaluate.
We're gonna give him 30 days to bite the bullet and clean it up himself. If he doesn't do that within 30 days, then we have to take the next steps.
We'll be back at the table.
Yeah.
But but we're already getting the quotes for the structural engineer to do the front building as well, so it's a tandem type thing.
Okay. And then my other question around safety, is around signage and whether there'll be signage kind of warning people and kind of thinking about having signage in multiple language, just when someone mentioned kids, that might be curious
Yes.
to go in there and making sure that there's signage in multiple languages so that people understand how dangerous it would be to go in there.
After we tear it down,
We can put signage on
it's
it.
not gonna be right now, if it collapses, it's gonna kill somebody.
Yeah.
And that road that goes behind, which we talked about earlier, the road that goes behind, that's the only access to the back of the mill to all the businesses. And the way it's cracked off, that if the gable end goes down, they call it the gable end of the wall, it'll end up crushing a vehicle with a person in it. So right now, when they turn around and say, tomorrow morning, that whole site, like right now, if you go down there, it's electric, telephone, disconnect gas, all that. But signage as far as after, it's all gonna be fenced in, so I don't think, unless somebody wants to jump over the fence.
But we'll see about some signage.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about kids.
You also have to think about you also have to think about first responders. You know, if the fire department has to go to one of those other buildings back there, and, you know, the trucks are pretty big. A fire truck is pretty big. If it goes through the back of that, vibrates enough, who's to say that that wall doesn't give way just because of the truck going by? You don't know. And then you got the first responders that are now in a big problem because they had to go respond to a fire that was just on the other side, so.
And then they can't get out because
Yeah,
there's no
well,
other access.
they got a truck that's crushed and you got people that are hurt, so.
Goes that? Go.
Okay, follow up on that. Has anybody been actually in the building to determine whether there's any toxics?
If you only got any guts to go in.
Explosives or anything?
No mask on.
It's only the DPW, kid without a helmet. Answer the question, anybody go in the building, Teddy?
Anybody?
Yeah, myself, Mike Julian,
Deputy Chief Hewitt,
Deputy Chief,
Rich.
DPW, yep,
Walked in there.
yep, we all walked in today.
So did you see anything that was of concern or anything like that?
Rotten beams that are
Yeah, you mentioned.
in the middle of the thing that are falling, that are further up towards the main building. So,
But there's nothing like explosives or anything that, something.
No,
where-
no.
Where you're bringing the building down and bigger.
no,
like
no,
building?
no.
No, that's good.
No.
Are you planning on bringing, and having all of the debris dumped basically into the cellar?
Pretty much.
Pretty much, okay.
Is there a cellar?
Yes, there is.
Any other discussion or questions? If not, I'd just like to make a quick comment. Nothing's more impressive than when you see a management person doing laborer's work. When you drive around and you see your DPW director driving a plow truck, you say, wow, that's pretty impressive. But when you see your deputy chief, fire chief, I'm driving down Mill Street and there's one lonely guy out there, I said, oh, must be a laborer from DPW or, and it's the deputy chief putting the cones out and in and covering it all. I just gotta say thank you very much. Some administrators would not do the low end job, but I thought it was impressive to see our department heads doing what they do. They do whatever it takes. Go ahead, Town Manager.
No, I just want to say for the record, I can't say enough about the teamwork that went on into this day. There we had multiple departments, treasure collector with the tax title attorney immediately going down there, taking a look at it on scene. Michelle and her team and jumping on it. You know, it really was everybody there, and as much as it goes, as stressful as some things can be, it's great when you're able to just say, we
All
work
hands on
together
deck.
and all hands on deck, and
And they know what
this
to
is a
do.
big issue, but we'll continue to work through it, so.
I would only
And-
suggest that if there is any further problems that you find when you're taking this down, that we authorize them to continue on with it. And
Well,
not have to come back here.
So this vote is to make it safe, so if it continues to not be safe, it's gonna go as far as it takes to make it safe.
Very good. Thank
Am I right, Ted?
Yep.
That's what it is, so.
So, yeah, first off, I'll echo, thank you, everyone who was involved today and did what they did, so thank you for that. As an adjacent business owner at Green Meadows, obviously this is pretty concerning. So you said tomorrow, 6 AM is the start, correct?
6 a.m. the machine, that's when the contractor said he wanted the machine on site.
On
And they
site.
would be starting.
Okay. Is there any way to estimate how long, obviously, I know you can't. obviously.
Not long.
Yeah, it won't take that
It
long.
won't take that long?
No.
Okay. And as far as,
Day and a half,
What's that?
maybe.
Plan for the day? Okay, I'm thinking about business closure, that kind of thing, like,
No, day and a half.
all right,
Hopefully, once he gets the roadside cleared and gets that gable end down,
Right.
he'll be in the building.
that's what I'm
And
hoping.
he'll be
yeah.
pulling everything in, so.
So hoping that Mill Street, I won't say largely unimpacted, but somewhat unimpacted
Yeah.
compared to the backside.
Yeah.
Okay.
Town Manager?
And just so you know, we did talk to DPW, we will get that sign up that says your businesses are open.
Thank you.
So we picked it up today, so that's moving forward to put out on the street. And we did confirm the town actually owns a piece of property out front. So, we own that property at the corner next to your bar, town owns it. So that sign will be going up there.
That's where the
on that
breeze is gonna
property.
go.
Huh?
Breeze going there, right?
Yeah, the sign's going up.
Jeez, it's a flood. Nice.
So I
You're gonna be
move
able
that
to
we
see it from the
approve
street?
Yes, we'll make it work.
this. I move that we approve this.
Second.
What's that?
I move that we approve this.
Well, there was already a motion.
It's already a motion, a second, is one in the discussion. Gus?
Question, do you have a rough guess on what the cost is gonna look like?
Nope,
Can we take a vote?
I have a guesstimate.
guesstimate.
Yeah. I have a guesstimate. By what they were saying, we're gonna pay overtime because they're moving the trucks and stuff tonight. So we're gonna pay overtime for that, but it's strictly on a cost, an hourly cost for the machine and the laborers. So I'm figuring around 50 grand,
That's
30 to
actually-
50 grand.
That's really cheap for this project.
Yeah,
To take down.
to take
That's not
down.
removal.
Yeah. The removal is gonna be
It's a little expensive
a
to me.
lot more than that.
The cleanup's a lot more.
No, about 50 grand.
Okay, that's good.
Any other discussion? No further discussion, all in favor? Opposed, unanimous, all present. Vote to adjourn.
So moved.
By Shinya, seconded by Adams. All in favor? Opposed, unanimous, all present.
Thank you all.